Hey, how's it going everybody? So it's review time. We're doing a review on the channel today. It's something that we don't normally do, but I thought I'd reach out to the company Huion and see if they'd be able to help me out, help you guys out, help everybody out. And what we're reviewing today is the LED Light Pad. And the size actually is A3. And for those of you that, what's that? I don't need to do some math. Basically, if you're interested in doing comic book artwork, that's 11 by 17, which is, I guess the traditional American print sized comics. You can use any paper really, but that's the Bristol that most people buy. And I reached out to them and asked if they'd be able to provide me with a copy, a physical copy of this device, because to be totally honest, I wanted one either way. But I thought I would ask if they'd be willing to help me out, send me one, and I can provide a review for you guys, which they did. So thank you guys, Huion anyway, everybody over there, Shirley especially. Anybody that's dealt with any kind of Huion products, you've probably talked to her. And she's a really nice lady. So I'm going to cut right through all the I don't want to say the crap, but the meat and the potatoes of the video. We'll get to that. But what I want to address in the beginning are the pros, the cons, and I don't want to say should you get it. I'm just going to say what I think, and then you don't have to sit through the whole video and watch all that stuff. But if you are continually interested, please stick around and we'll get into the meat and the potatoes. So right off the crack, yes, I do think it's definitely worth the price. There's only really one negative thing, and that negative thing is it's stupid. It's really a stupid thing because it's such a good product that you kind of feel like, well, if you're going to have a pros and a cons list, you need a con, right? You got to come up with something. And really all it is that it'd be cool if it didn't have to be plugged into a power source to get the light to come through. That's it. And I mean, there's reasons for that. You know, be able to sit in front of the TV or whatever the hell you want to do. Other than that, the pros are great. It weighs nothing. I'll just show it so it's not just me, but this is here in the background. I'm going to drop a bunch of stuff. But this is it. Look at this. You guys have probably already seen some other videos on this as well. This has been out for a little bit. But look how thin that is. Anybody that's ever used a light box or a light table, I hope you guys can appreciate this because this is amazing. What it is, it looks like nothing, right? It's got a little bit of weight to it, but I've had light boxes and light tables before, and those guys are like thick and heavy and whatever. This is really, really slick, right? So it doesn't weigh much at all. The size is exactly what I was looking for. Something that could handle 11 by 17 Bristol, which I would normally draw at if I was doing traditional art. Most of the time I just use like 8.5 by 11 regular letter printer paper. But sometimes, you want to do comic books, right? If you guys are on this channel and you guys are watching my stuff, you guys know we love to do comics. Other than that, I mean, the customer service I definitely want to talk about as well because Shirley, even if you guys go back and you check out my Huion GT220, which is like a drawing tablet review, I did 2 videos of that. And Shirley is the lady that, I don't know exactly what her position is there, but fantastic. She's been able to help me out in any situation and seems more than willing to help. So I want to include that, and not to shoehorn it all in because they're hooking me up with a review copy, but because I think with other companies, there's this standard that gets reached, and if it's not for other companies coming in and their customer service, it's very hard to compete, right? So I did want to tip my hat to that because I hope that I come across anyway in the videos and the helping that we're doing with each other that personally, I try to help people, right? So when I get to a company that is willing to help out, I definitely want to let people know that because I do think that goes a long way, regardless of the product. If the people are able to help, that actually can speak volumes. I've gotten a few good products in my day and horrible customer service, and it just makes you get like spiteful and regretful and all these nasty things. But anyway, all that to say is I would recommend it if you're looking for a light box. If you're already coming into this video looking for something like to talk about regarding a light box environment, highly recommend it. The cost is very good. Canadian, it's like 120. It's a lot of cash. But to be honest, compared to what's available around me anyway in Canada, this was to spend that little extra, which is, I would say there's like a Crayola one. And I know that doesn't even sound like anything I'd be interested in because it feels like Crayola is like, okay, well, you're you're younger, you go to Crayola, and then you start moving up on other products that are a little bit more expensive because they're tailored for artists and creative people, right? So yeah, there's that one, and I think it's like 60, 70 bucks I've seen. And I was actually going to pick one up, and I'm going to talk about why in a second. But then I looked online, and a good friend of mine, and I hope you guys are checking out his stuff, Joe Mulvey. And if you don't know who he is, head on over to comicstribe.com. You can see a whole bunch of his awesome work. Or just follow him on Twitter. He's a very active guy. He actually posted this and made me even aware of it, I'd say 6 to 8 months ago, around there. And I just put it in my to-do list to just, put in Evernote and my to-do list so I could go in there and just sort of like, oh yeah, I remembered that, or somebody brought this up. And if it wasn't for Joe even talking about it, I wouldn't have known. So I wanted to say thanks to him as well. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps up the pros and cons. Pick it up if you're interested in it. I really wouldn't worry about it. There's zero negatives that I've seen. I haven't even really heard people saying bad things about it. So let's talk into like just some of the stuff of like, why get a light pad? Everything I do on this channel, anyway, that I share with you guys is digital. Well, and I'm going to try to keep this video short. I do a lot of rambling, and I apologize for that. But I work at a video game company here in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. iDream Interactive, for those of you that are interested. And I'm sitting in front of computers all day. I think most of us are probably, maybe not most, but there's a lot of us that sit in front of computers all day. Long story short, I got a standing desk now. I was able to save up money for that. And a lot of things you can see, I got my drafting table behind me and stuff, but the sitting, the computers, I'm a digital artist as well. It just, it got irritating for a while. And I was making it, I was sharing it with you guys and posting it in videos and discussing it in our live streams and such. And I just wanted to get back to, like, this guy. This is what, I post so much art with this. Look, it's like a paper mate, not throwaway pen. This is like sketchy stuff. You're taking notes, you're on a phone, like back in the day when you'd be on a phone call, you're supposed to be sketching on the back of an envelope. Stuff like that. But it gets you away from the screens, and it's a little bit more, I don't know, there's no distractions. Theoretically, it's this magical unicorn that I've let go to get into the world of digital, and I love digital artwork. But getting away from the computer. But I don't want to like stop my production and my workflow, right? I want to be able to do that sort of stuff. And the one thing that digital has given me is that ability to always like not only just undo, but you can always add new layers, change the opacity, build on something, so you can develop a sketch or a gesture, change the opacity really lightly, add your anatomy and your clothing, and then render over top. You know what I'm saying? Like it builds up it feels more natural, or in a way that I wish traditional did, right? But besides an eraser, there's not much you can do with traditional. And that's why this isn't like a brand new thing. A lot of people have been using this since the friggin' sun. I was going to say since the sun existed, but before people started going like, okay, here's the sun, let's put like a transparent object in front of it, like glass, I would assume was the very first thing. Now we got plastic, but you can even use it with your window on your house, and I've talked about this. And I'm actually linking a video below because I want you guys to check that video out of the actual process of what I'm talking about. And what that process is taking thumbnails, scanning them into Photoshop, blowing them up to 11 by 17, and if you don't have a printer or anything that's that big, I talk about all that. And then I talk about a light box, which this is exactly what I was talking about. Something like this is perfect for that. But if you can't get that, then you put it up against the window because the sun's coming through, and you can see why you would use it. But I'm hopefully going to like start right now, if the recordings all work. I'm just going to sort of show me drawing with the thing and have that overlaid over my talking. If it doesn't work, then unfortunately you got to listen to me and look at, whatever, put it in the background, do what you got to do. So all that's to say that I enjoyed, and I still enjoy what digital has allowed me to do and grow as an artist. Not that traditional stuff, paper and pencil, wouldn't have done that. But there are cool things with digital. Now, and it affects my workflow because now I'm not really used to using an eraser and building. It just feels like work, and I don't want that. I want to have some fun while I'm able to draw. So what this lets me do is actually here. I knew that's going to happen there. I'm just showing you guys a quick picture So what I was doing, here, let me just grab it, was I posted the sketchbook red that I was doing. And some of you, thank you by the way, picked up the sketch edition. And the sketch edition had sketches in the back. So this is just like a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of paper, right? But my sketchbook is sort of like a mini comic. It's just folded in half. So what I would do is I'll just put this up here so you guys can kind of see it. And again, I'll have some image overlays of other ones that I've done like this. And I've talked about, you know, working like this, but it's sketchy. This is, to me, this looks digital in the form of I'm going to build on this, okay? So what I do is you just take this, and instead of making a new layer or whatever, right, you just turn on the light pad, boom, put that on top, put what I'm going to do on top of that, and you can either just ink right over top, right, put your tight lines, anything you want. It mixes that digital feeling with the traditional feeling that I think a lot of people would actually enjoy, and that's why I wanted to talk about this in general, because I know a lot of you guys do talk to me and reach out and stuff about confidence. You don't feel like you're ready to do art, or you don't feel like you're there yet. And I don't want to go to a whole thing. Again, I want to try to keep this short, so I'm going to really start plowing through this. But it's things like this that, as much as I'm a believer in sticking with the tools you have, and maybe not actively seeking multiple products, there's certain things that can definitely help, and not all artists use this. Again, you can look online for people that work in Marvel, DC, if those are where you want, if those are, you know, companies you want to, if that's what you aspire to be, one of those style of artists. A pencil and an eraser is all you need. It's all you need. But a light box is very similar to tracing paper, if you ever use that when you're growing up. One of the really cool things you guys might dig is, I know a lot of people have a problem with perspective, so you can actually draw your grid, right, on rulers, unlike this, okay? You could, and I don't know how many of you guys are going to do this, but I recommend it, just put that there, is you could fill out like paper like this with perspective grids on it. Just take an afternoon and draw a bunch of different perspective grids. And now what you can do is you can take your artboard, your Bristol, if you're working traditional, and I'll just bring this in front of the screen. I'm going to include pictures as well so you can see it. But you can just lay it over top, and all of a sudden you can put your perspective grid right on there, right? So, sorry, let me just show you here real quick. So this would have been, hopefully this will show up. It's all in red, but you can't really see it. But this is just rough pencils, right, that you would normally do on paper, right? We got some perspective and stuff down there. This is nothing new, this right here. But having this on a separate piece of paper means that, and I don't know how often this happens to people, but it does, that if an accident happens, or if you're not happy with something and you wish you could go back, but there's like a panel that you just wanted to change, but everything else was great, by working in stages like this, you're always able to go back, and it doesn't cost you really any time or anything, right? And this is very similar to like what I would have done like back in the day, just doing like 2H lead, I think is what we used on here, and just, you know, throwing in line art and stuff like that. And this was a wonderful experiment. Again, it got me back. I was pumping some music. I was just drawing like I did back in the day, and it got me away from the computer. And I mean, that's really what this is about. I think it can definitely work in tandem. I know there's a lot of people that they like to do like type pencils and stuff like that, and then ink digitally, or the other way around. They like to pencil digital, print it out, and then I wish I could light box it somehow, or get that onto paper. And I think this is an awesome tool to have in your toolbox of art tools. I don't know if it's something that you would work with every day. Everybody's going to be different on their workflow. But knowing that I have this now, right over in the corner here, I wish I would have taken it to show you guys. Maybe one day I'll show you. Scott McDaniel, I believe his name was, .net, something like that. Old website. It's been around for a very long time. And I've talked about this guy too. He has on there how to make a light box, like with a blueprint, with wood, and using like, some people, they got, like I have it too, halogen lamps over your sink, and you put that in there with plastic. Like, you can make this stuff, of course. And I asked my dad, because I'm fancy with pencils. I know nothing of tools, right? So I asked my dad, hey, he's a handy guy. Could you be able to help me out? And he did. he took some creative liberty on his own part to, like, I don't think he knew what it was for. And that's definitely one thing, is this right here, wherever I put it, right down here, it is just like a thing, but what's really cool about it is whether they intended to or not, it's meant for artists, right? Like, this is an artist's tool. It's got these little stoppers in the back. It's designed to be what we need it to be. Light, simple, not in the way, and what it has is all I need. I don't want it to be thick. I don't want to have to reach over while I'm drawing in things. It gets out of the way. I suppose I should say very quickly, probably should have done this in the beginning, but the rambling, right? Talked about that. But I wanted to, I guess we could just show you, there's ruler markings along the top and the bottom, which is great for those of you interested in that. Power button and the AC jack. Now what's cool about the power button is you press it, just illuminates. You hold it and it starts to de-illuminate? What's the other word of illumination? We're going to say de-illumination. That sounds whack. But you hold that and it gets less bright. So the idea is the thicker your paper, you probably want more light. But if you're using like regular skunky paper that I'm using like this, it's like you can see right through it if I just held it in front of a lamp like above me, right? So you require less light, and that's really cool to have that. And that's what I'm talking about. It's that little stuff like that, because the one that my dad, I was grateful that he made it. It's just got an on and an off, right? It's not meant for an artist. You can use it, but it's missing just that little. Oh, I wish it had that kind of thing, right? So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up. Hopefully there was video over top. If not, I apologize. And again, just to reiterate, for the pros and cons, not at the end, we're back at the end. The only con is I wish I didn't have to plug it in to be able to use it. That's it. Other than that, I don't know if you can kind of see right here, I just have an AC cable right there, and it's just popping up over. That's not in my way. If it is, I can push it back. It's a cable. It's not, it's there. Plug it in when I need it. Use it. Take it out. It's good to go. It's really not that big of a deal. I'm not a traveling artist. That's just not my workflow. Might be yours, so that might be something. That's why I wanted to have. It is a concern, but it's not. I don't think it breaks the purchase of it. The weight, quality, customer service, all that stuff. Wonderful product. Absolutely wonderful. I still use it, and I've had it for a while now. So I hope that helps some of you guys out. And maybe if you didn't even know about it, maybe this brought it to your attention, and you forgot you were looking for something like this, or you didn't even know things like this existed. So I think that might help you out. So I'm going to wrap it up. And again, I want to say thank you to everybody at Huion, especially Shirley, again, because you're the one I talked to, for helping me get this here for you guys to help you out, help me out, help us all out. And if we get any more product reviews in the future, I think it'd be fun to have this sort of thing going back and forth. Sharing in the community, the art community, the comic book community in specific, I think is something, not that we don't have it on YouTube, but just, I'll be careful what I say there. Just the more video and content we have of people just talking about comics, the creation of is great, but I also think there is a side of it where it's the psychological part, the how do I wish I had the energy to, or there's no time in the day, that talk. I know it's not specifically regarding this, but that is why I wanted to show this as well, because there is that part, at least for me, so I have to assume there's some of you out there where it's like, I'm just surrounded by computers all day, and I love computer art. Sometimes I'd like to just turn digital off and just draw, and I don't want it to hurt my production or my workflow. And that's why this thing has been amazing, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe as well if you're new to the channel, and leave a comment below. I definitely love talking to you guys and you girls out there. And as we always say at the end of these shows, thank you so much. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.